Operation Eagle's Wings, honoring all who served and leaving no one behind. And we are going to be here for another hour yet at the Bend Elks Lodge, and we are honoring World War II veterans and those who served and those who died during Pearl Harbor. Of course, today is the 70th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. We're going to be pulling some video off the internet tonight about the 70th anniversary commemorative event. Sorry, it's been a long day. That's been at Pearl today. There have been 2 Pearl Harbor survivors from Central Oregon that have went there today, and so to those folks, to those 2 guys, and to the others, we say thank you for serving your country. Here at the Elks Lodge in Bend, we have several varied photographs that Guy Shaw took. Now, Guy Shaw was a photographer for the Army Air Corps from 1941 to 1945. Also was trained by Time Life Photography. And so very, very interesting photographs. They did a very, very good job. Guy did a very good job of capturing the life of what it was like to serve in the armed forces during World War II. So we're going to be here until 7 o'clock tonight. Stop by. We're showing a video as well here about Pearl Harbor and World War II. And with me right now is Chuck Hemingway of Central Oregon Veterans Outreach. And COVO has been very, very active in helping veterans, World War II, and veterans of all service and all theaters in just getting support, and homeless veterans. Chuck, you guys have been very, very active in helping homeless veterans. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So what's on your wish list right now? I know it's cold here in Central Oregon. If you're not in Central Oregon, it gets very cold here in the wintertime, and they always need donations of sleeping bags and
Right.
Just exactly what do you need?
Well, sleeping bags, tents, tarps, gloves, stocking caps, underwear, long sleeve undershirts, long underpants, anything that someone can use to keep warm out in these elements. We have a lot of folks that live outside that even in the winter don't want to go into one of the shelters like Bethlehem Inn or Shepherd's House, and so we try to make rounds out there when the weather gets really cold and go and check on them, make sure they're okay, and if they need something, provide it to them, or if they decided they've had enough of the cold and want to come into Bethlehem Inn or Shepherd's House, we'll give them a ride in to be warm for the night.
Now, as far as food, I guess I found something that was quite interesting to me. Sorry, it's been a very long day. Spam is something that works well. Why is that?
It's a high protein food that you can eat just right out of the can, and that you don't have to cook it. It goes with pretty much anything. You can cut it up and put it in some vegetables and eat it cold. That and I don't know if I can say Bi-Mart, but Bi-Mart has little kind of oval containers of ham. Okay. Those are a real popular item. The Vienna sausages, those are really popular. Slim Jims. Okay. Anything that's real handy. What
about beef jerky?
Beef jerky is popular. Yeah. Anything like that the folks out there can open easily and eat easily, and they can get protein and nourishment out of that doesn't have to necessarily be cooked. That goes fast.
What are you seeing out there as far as the need in the veterans community? Of course, we've got a lot of people coming back from Afghanistan, Iraq. We don't have any large deployments that are returning, but we do have a lot of people here in Central Oregon that have served. And from what I'm being told is sometimes things are good when they come back, but there's a window of I can't remember what the number is, like 20 weeks or whatever, where they come back and things start happening. Right. So what's the need out there? What are you seeing?
We're starting to see more and more of the folks that came back from the recent deployments whose unemployment benefits are running out. Yeah. They've used up their accrued pay and allowances, and so now they're starting to struggle. Some of them have enrolled in school, and school didn't go well, so they're having to drop out of school, and they're losing that GI Bill benefit money that was coming in. So we're seeing more and more folks coming in asking for a little bit of assistance toward the end of the month with rent or utility bills, or help with getting a security deposit paid, gasoline money. We've had even requests for child care expenses. Can you help us get a babysitter so we can go out and look for work? It's
Speaking of looking for work, is that getting more and more an issue as far as unemployed veterans? I know, you might think that's a stupid question, but where are we looking at as far as the unemployment situation with veterans? I know the unemployment rate's pretty high still here in Central Oregon.
Right. Well, we're seeing veterans who've come back who've been told that their jobs are no longer there. Mm-hmm. We've seen veterans who, before they deployed, they were working at one level of income. They come back and they can't find that job anymore, and they have to take another job, and they're underemployed. Right. And then we've got veterans who have come back and they didn't have a job when they went, and so they upped and re-upped and went back for a tour, another overseas tour, and come back and they're still unemployed. So it's all across a continuum of people that vets have come back that can't find work at all, or who are underemployed.
Now, you've got a program at COVO, Central Oregon Veterans Outreach in Bend, to help help veterans become more employable. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, it's called the Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program, mm-hmm. and it's through a grant that we received from the Department of Labor, and it's a jobs training program, and it's not only to help the veterans, that's the real focus, but it's also to help the employers to recognize that there are some veterans out there who we've assisted and have worked very hard to develop some job skills that maybe they didn't have when they deployed. So we've got a program where we do outreach to go out and find homeless veterans who need to be a part of this program. We do outreach to local employers who would be vet friendly, but we also have a specific person dedicated to helping them with develop job skills, like how do you dress for an interview? How do you answer questions in an interview? How do you write a good, effective resume? All those things that perhaps they haven't taken advantage of. And we work very closely with the State Employment Department, and they have two people at the Employment Department. One's called a Disabled Veterans Outreach Program person. She works specifically with veterans to help them develop job skills. And we have a person called a leaver, a local veterans employment representative, who also goes out and works with employers to try and find jobs for veterans. The difference in our program is that we can spend a lot more time working with individual veterans than the DVOP or the leaver at the employment department can, because they're overwhelmed.
Okay. We have the next session of the legislature is coming up first quarter of this year. Anything on your legislative priority list that you're interested in watching as the session comes up?
We're hoping that perhaps there will be part of the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs legislative packet, some additional incentives to employers at the local level to provide jobs for veterans. Or to get tax credits or other benefits for considering hiring a veteran. This past legislature, there was a statute it goes into effect in January that will provide a $2,500 payment to an employer who provides a job to a veteran. When you couple that with some of the recent legislation that the Obama administration has put forward, that would provide some additional incentives financially for employers on the federal side, it can be a really good package. But there's always more we can do. What we'd like to do is strengthen, if we can, something that happens far too frequently, the veteran who comes back who had a job with an employer, who comes back and finds that that job is no longer there. And what more can we do to enforce some reemployment rights for these veterans?
What is the law in regards to reemployment?
Well, if a job if a veteran has left a position and there have been no changes in the job, like it hasn't been re-engineered to add additional skills to it, or there has been no other development in the company, like they've had to downsize or lost some work or contracts, that sort of thing, then the veteran is supposed to be given priority for getting the job back and get hired back. But there's a lot can happen in a year, and if a job is critical and has to be backfilled and you come back and that job is taken, the employers have quite a bit of latitude to be able to come up with reasons why they can't reemploy that veteran.
Okay, yeah, I can understand the employer situation because, maybe they've hired somebody that's a very good worker, and so what do? They want to help the veteran, but maybe Joe is, hey, we've hired him to take Sam's place when he went overseas, and he's really good, and we hate to let him go. And you can see both sides of it.
Right. Yeah. It's a tough call for an employer, but if there is a way to work with employers to provide them with additional incentives, and to work with us to develop maybe job training programs or other ways to go through the VA system through Voc Rehab and get some OJT training for maybe the veteran left, and in the meantime they upgraded their software or they upgraded their computer system. If there's a way that we can get an OJT program with an employer through the programs that we have, then we can cut the economic damage that maybe an employer has to suffer for having had to fill that position and paying that salary, and then having the veteran come back and wanting to be hired again and having a double burden of salary.
Okay. What can people do to help COVO, Central Oregon Veterans Outreach? You also might share your website.
Well, our website is covo-us.org. What we can use help right now on are small hygiene type items, any little shampoos or soaps or toothpaste, or particularly dental floss. For some reason, there's a big demand for dental floss right now. Underwear, both men's and women's. One of the things that we get a lot of donations of are big size blue jeans, but we can really use, because a lot of these guys that are out there in the camps, they're kind of skinny. So 30 waist or 32 waist or 33 waist jeans or some kind of that size pants we really run out of. We got lots of 40s and 42s and 46s, but you don't find many fat people out in the camps.
No, they don't have enough food to get fat,
yeah.
Which is part of the dilemma. So Chuck, thank you for all you do to help veterans with COVO, Central Oregon Veterans Outreach here in Central Oregon. So thanks for talking to us today.
Great. Dave, thank you for having me. Always great to be with you.
And we're going to be here until 7 o'clock tonight. Bend Elks Lodge, free of charge. Come on in. The door's open. And we're playing a video, World War II, Pearl Harbor. We're here to honor the veterans, especially the World War II era veterans, and especially those who served during Pearl Harbor. We're here with a photo display that was taken by Guy Shaw, who served in the Army Air Corps from 1941 to 1945. His two daughters were here today, and we talked to them about Guy, his love for photography. Guy was trained by Time Life to take pictures, and he's done a marvelous job of capturing kind of what life was like. There are a few battle scenes here, but a lot of it is just photos, just what life was like during World War II. Very interesting, very enlightening. So if you're not doing anything, come on down and check them out. We'll be here until 7 o'clock tonight. The two daughters also were talking to Dick Tobiasen about possibly a way to maybe digitize these and put them in a museum or include them in an Oregon display somewhere, so that these photos can be used to help share this legacy with future generations. So we'll be here until 7 o'clock tonight. And Chuck, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
This is Operation Eagle's Wings. You can check out our website at eagle1.tv. And as we have other people come in, we may interview them before 7 o'clock tonight. Now, we don't interview everybody who walks in the door, so don't be afraid that if you walk in the door, you're going to be interviewed on camera. It doesn't always happen unless you want to be. So thanks you for coming down, and we'll be here tonight until 7 o'clock.